Hi, I'm Lisa Tan and welcome to this edition of Oxwide, bringing you the latest of what's been happening here at Oxley's. We start with a fascinating glimpse into the lives of our perinatal mental health service users through a special photography exhibition organised by Ellie, one of our peer engagement facilitators. We dropped into Queen Mary's Hospital to find out more.
My name's Ellie and I'm a peer engagement facilitator in the Perinatal Mental Health Team, but I'm also a current service user of that team.
You organised this photographic exhibition at Queen Mary's. Can you tell us what it is exactly?
Yes, so I invited service users under the care of the perinatal team to reflect on a space or place that has meaning to them as part of their perinatal mental health journey, but also their parenthood journey. So the idea all started because I did a joint visit with a nursery nurse to visit a mum, and we started talking a little bit about how much time is spent in one part of your home when you're looking after a newborn. And that's quite normal, I think, for parents without any mental health challenges. But actually spending quite a lot of time in one place can be quite difficult. So you can have mixed feelings about the space. So it can be quite comforting and quite calming to be in that space. But actually it's quite difficult to get out of the house when you have a baby. So you spend extended amount of time in your home and that can impact how you feel. Then I thought a bit about how when you're on a perinatal mental health journey, what that then can add to that emotion and that feeling that you're experiencing. So you might be struggling more with anxiety and getting out the house. You might be feeling quite low and actually that's reflected in the space around you. So I thought it was really important to maybe explore those spaces and to invite service users to express what that space means to them.
What's been the response so far to the exhibition at Queen Mary's?
So we've had some lovely feedback. We're inviting people who are viewing the exhibition to share their feedback with us by filling in a feedback form. And we've had some really lovely feedback that a lot of people have reflected on their own experience of becoming a parent and how it felt for them. So I think it's kind of taken them back to that time and reminds them of how they felt. But people have also talked about how powerful they found it and how emotional that it's made them to read and reflect on our service users' experiences.
So Ellie joined us back in September 2022 when she first approached us for joining the project. Ellie took part in the training, which is outsourced to With You training. And then Ellie then was placed in the perinatal team here at Oxley's, and she's been with us for a year, so she's almost coming to the end of her placement now.
How have you found the perinatal team at Queen Mary's yourself from your own experience?
Fantastic. So I was a service user when I had my daughter about 2.5 years ago, and I felt really supported by them. I really found that especially the nursery nurse who I was seeing worked on bonding with me and my daughter, and that just really changed things for me. Working in the team has been lovely, and being under the care of the team now, I really do feel reassured when I have my next baby, that there will be eyes on me, they'll be caring for me, making sure that I'm okay, and that's really reassuring. They're a really caring team and I'm really glad that I've had a chance to work with them.
So what has your role been with Ellie?
I'm here to support Ellie throughout her time with Oxley's as a peer engagement facilitator. Ellie also received support from her placement supervisor too.
I do hope to come back and look at doing future exhibitions as well as part of my sort of peer support work. So we're hoping that this could be maybe an annual thing. But I've also spoken quite widely with other mental health teams in the Trust, and a lot of people are saying how actually they feel like it could be quite transferable to their teams as well.
The fantastic work that Ellie's done with her exhibition here is definitely a benefit to Oxley's, and it's something that all PEFs will be able to do in their own placements.
So I also want to say thank you to all of the project participants who took part. I really admire how open and honest they were about their experiences, and I know that this will benefit service users and other people who are going through their own perinatal and parenthood journeys. And I'd like to thank the perinatal team as well. So without them and their support and their encouragement and helping to facilitate the project, I wouldn't have been able to sort of put this together. So I wanted to thank everyone that was involved.
Demand for ADHD services and support is increasing. And our Adult ADHD team at Oxley's are doing some brilliant community outreach work. And with strong links between sport and ADHD, we caught up with Dr. Sadiq and the team whilst they trained both Charlton Athletic Football Club coaches and community trust staff on how to recognise ADHD and support players.
I'm Nikita Shah. I'm the assistant psychologist at ADHD service. So we basically do assessments, diagnose the patients, send out referral forms. We do community outreach. We also are planning on psychoeducational groups for patients with ADHD. Increasing the awareness around ADHD is definitely what we're planning to do through community outreach. So for example, today was our session at Charlton FC for coaches to increase their awareness about ADHD amongst children and adults, players.
We've got a really big community of players across the age groups from under 9 right up to under 21, and there's a lot of difference in the boys that we deal with in the academy. And in terms of sort of getting to know them really well and dealing with their behaviours and supporting them to be the best version of themselves as footballers, it's really important to be able to understand them better. I think from my perspective as a coach and as sort of supporting the coaches in our academy programme, I think in the modern world we need to be much more aware of the difference of individuals and be very capable of supporting them in very new and different ways. So it was a really interesting opportunity to hear some strategies as well as some fact-based knowledge around what was going to be very helpful, hopefully, for us going forward in terms of supporting our players.
We do come across definitely some students that are affected by this condition, and it's interesting to find a bit more about how the condition impacts the young people and potentially measures that we can put in place to help them manage that.
The amount of people that have got some sort of ADHD in their lives, that was probably an interesting thing. So there must be a small community certainly within our own playing staff, as I was saying. I think some of the useful points were really around how to recognise those things and also then how to support and know what to look for, and then know how to strategise the dealing with those individuals. That was really helpful, I think.
I think we'll take away some of those ideas and try and implement them to make our environment as inclusive as possible, and that's what we strive towards. So ensuring we do take on board things like these from this workshop today will help us to get to that place eventually.
ADHD is such a pertinent topic when it comes to sports. The amount of energy that an ADHDer has, I think it's unheard of. And you will see a lot of people who are undiagnosed who are in sports. And again, it works two ways. One, to identify if somebody has got problems in relation to ADHD whilst they're being athletes. Plus, how is the physical exertion and the physical exercise helping them to overcome the features of ADHD? So it goes two ways. It's not just one way. It's got two ways. So it's positives and identifying if there's anything that we can do help the community who have got ADHD.
We're planning on going to universities. We're also planning to go to religious centers, such as mosques or churches from some communities. People prefer going to them and speaking about their children. Okay, this is my problem with my child. My child's being naughty, as they say. So I think these outreach works will help increase more awareness. People at the head of such institutions can speak to the parents as well as identify potential patients, and hence we can outreach more communities through that.
I think the aim is to give them strategies to help people in the communities to deal with ADHD. A lot of, I think 33% of the cases of ADHD, they are mild to moderate. And if they're mild, they do not require any medication. They require techniques, strategies, structure to help them. So if we reach out to them, if we tell them that this is what we're going to do, and they start applying it in the community, they won't ever need a diagnosis, because whatever they require, we are bringing it to them, and we are trying to inculcate it into their system so that they are able to strategize it better. So in a way, not increasing the number of ADHD assessment, but actually decreasing the number of ADHD assessment. That's what the main goal is.
Now, Greenwich Joint Emergency Team is made up of healthcare staff and social workers who work side by side to integrate services for our patients. We called in on National Social Workers Day to meet the team and find out more about them and how they work.
My name is Jo Daly and I'm the service lead for the Joint Emergency Team. The Joint Emergency Team is a health and social care crisis intervention team. We're managing crises, so we have referrals that are coming, and referrals can come in from anywhere. And it's usually somebody who needs immediate intervention. So the role of the social worker is to be part of the team, to be able to undertake those holistic assessments, to identify, in the same way that everybody else does, where specialist assessments are required. And equally, like if health are going out, and if there's a social care issue, they will refer into social care. So what we're trying to get is that generic assessment that anybody can do, and then the social care specialism, we will then use that as and when required.
My name is Tolu Olaleye. I'm a social senior practitioner with the Joint Emergency Team. I've always been a passionate person. I've always been a caring person. And if you are going to do social work, you have to have the passion for it.
But I think that sometimes we don't fully understand what social workers do. So I think that was a big part of our team, was really getting to understand what is the social worker's role, what are they responsible for, and how best can we work with the social workers within the team. And I think we've managed that because we've blurred all the boundaries across health and social care. So it just feels like a big supportive team that puts the person or the patient or the client in the middle, and that the team kind of like folds its way round the actual patient, rather than the patient trying to fit in with all of our different disciplines.
It has opened my eyes to see so many things, because in JET we've got GPs, we've got physio, we've got occupational therapists, we've got nurses.
At one point I really wanted to be a social worker. I wanted to have that dual, so to be a nurse and a social worker, because I think there's a lot of reward from a social worker working with complex cases, having those really good communication skills to be able to support people. I don't know, I think it's a rewarding career.
I wanted to do nursing, but I felt with social work to make impacts, positive, not just an impact, but positive impact on people's lives. That is the main thing, helping them to fulfill, I see myself as a symbol of hope, as an inspiration to others. Apart from the positive impacts on their lives, looking back myself and seeing the positive changes in their life, seeing what they've achieved or the outcome of my intervention, it kind of makes me feel kind of fulfilled in my own way as well.
That's all for this edition of Oxwide. We hope you've enjoyed the films. Until next time, goodbye.